You just put oh, your it sucks. Yeah, they sure miss. We used to go. First, when we were Davison, I was so discuss spring training. Do we know how trouble there is?
Lots of it.
Got 9 o'clock, if everybody can join us for the pledge, please. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I ask for a motion on the agenda, there is one change. We're gonna move the W-45 overlay to next week.
I'll make the motion to accept the agenda with the amendment to move W-45 discussion next week.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approve the minutes of the October 13th, 2025 regular meeting. The motion to approve.
So
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approve employee claims filed with County Auditor for $1,744.26.
We need to have some discussion on this. This is the one.
the mileage reimbursement.
Yeah. I mean, I'll second it.
Right, and then let's have a discussion.
I didn't finish reading the whole email, but
Yeah.
I think it's something we'll have to look into. I'm not sure.
I think we could probably make an adjustment after the fact. The discussion is, there's a reimbursement from a grant for 50 cents a mile. And then, we, as a board, have approved, 70 cents a mile. So, with the caveat that you use a county vehicle when it's available. So there's some discussion about this, and I mean, I don't have any problem paying there. If they're gonna reimburse 50 cents a mile, maybe we can do the 20 cents per mile, but.
I would strongly encourage her to reach out to public health to figure out how Amy Kelly does that, because they have some mileage reimbursable grants too. And
It's the mileage reimbursement.
right, but I think they turn that in to the people that are issuing the grants. But then I think that we actually do the full mileage under ours, so the 50 cents would be reimbursable back.
To us.
Right, I believe that's how they do that. Have you?
You understand that?
Yep, so that's why I'm up here. I apologize, I sent my email rather late. So the mileage reimbursement for the grant is only at 50 cents per mile. Cody was aware of that before we went down to training. I guess I'm not sure why there would be questions. So with the grant, if we're not going to utilize all of the funds, sorry, I'm like right up here. If we're not going to utilize most of the funds, then they can start decreasing the amount that they give us. So the grant side is fine reimbursing those. They also will reimburse for certain computer supplies that we need as well. But I did send an email this morning just basically stating that the claim that I submitted for the county has already been reimbursed to the grant for submission for the claim. So making adjustments on that, whether to remove it, sure if that's possible, I could potentially reach out to them and see if they would be able to open the claim back up so I can make that modification if we would need to remove it. But again, they're only going to reimburse at the 50 cents and at the 70. I guess that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay.
I guess I don't have a problem with the way it's rolling out now. So, I mean, if we're reimbursed 50 cents per mile, then it seems like an effective use of the grant.
Right, but I also think that Cody should be reimbursed the full amount for taking her vehicle.
Right.
And the other vehicles that we had available for them for use were broke down at the time, so I kind of want to,
Feels like it's shaking out the right way.
right. So further the conversation, just because public health has a car or whatever to use, I'm not sure that taking that truck to Des Moines is probably the best use of the truck. It's more of a truck to like for well tested high gravel roads, not to drive to Des Moines. So with that being said, when they do the training in Des Moines, taking their personal vehicles is probably the better option. Just my opinion. I don't know where you guys are gonna go with this.
Long drives and fatigue and new environments, I'm sure individuals will be more comfortable with their vehicles. Yeah, like I said, I have no problem the way it's shaking out now.
John?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So can we give Amber directions, so, or guidance, so in the future, when there's some questions on this, then she knows which way to go and she's not gonna get reprimanded?
Well, that's the point of confusion at this point. It seems to me that it's, the grant is reimbursing at, say, 50 cents.
Mhm.
And our policy is 70 cents. Could she do an additional mileage reimbursement request for the 20 cents difference, or we do it? I don't know.
I actually think it's a paperwork thing,
Yeah, I think the way it's tracking through, excuse me, I think the way it's tracking through is correct. Reimbursed at 70 cents and then we're reimbursed at 50 cents.
is there a certain way you need to track that, Amber?
She was just reimbursed strictly at 50 cents because that's all that the grant would cover. We did not want to use any county funds to help cover the mileage cost, and therefore that's why we went with the 50 and with the 70. So I do have budget funds, yes, for mileage reimbursement, but since this is just strictly billed to the grant, I followed that protocol.
Can you further check with Amy Kelly, because I know they have some grants that are very similar to this, and maybe she has a specific way she's tracking it also.
Okay.
There's mud.
Yeah, it's for me.
Get a
Yeah,
motion in a second.
Chris is ill today, so I can't reach out to her, and so later, I guess. Next, need a motion to approve. Well, we didn't vote on the
There you go.
approval things. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approve the claims filed with the county auditor for $550,281.24.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our monthly employee health insurance report balance is sitting at 2,717,000, so it's gone up a little bit again. So it raised about 117,000.
Make the motion to accept the employee health insurance report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And in the folder was our monthly fund balance report. If I could have a motion to approve.
First, I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Approve of fund transfer.
Thanks, Amber.
Yeah, did you have any information on the fund transfer? Do
Um,
you have any information on the fund transfer?
no, I think Anne might do that. That's she with that.
Realize we're dropping you in on the conversation at the last minute. Sorry about that.
But I think.
Okay, here it is, I've got it here. From the general fund to secondary roads fund is $77,500. And from the rural services fund to the secondary roads fund, $1,035,000. And this is something we do twice a year, so.
I'll make the motion.
Favor?
Nice. Oops.
Oops, did I get a second?
Discussion.
All in favor?
Banging out there.
You can tell the General Chris isn't here today. Keep these ramrodding on here. Okay, we do have a candidate, that stepped up to, Washington Township Trustee Commission. Wade Crawford, he, is interested in serving on that, township trustee. And he wants to become more involved in the community, which I think is great. Looks forward to the role of being fiscally responsible for county funds in the township. He's a lifelong resident of Buchanan County. And he had a couple of good references, Gary Gissel and Jan Rowland, food pantry manager. So I would entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Wade Crawford to our Washington Township trustees.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Next, we need to place on file the following manure management plans. State site, Hazleton Township, section 26. That's the only one.
Most place, manure management plans on file.
All one of them. Yep. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we want to recognize Sherilyn Hazen, our weed commissioner. Encouragement of Keith, recognize her ongoing commitment to the county and for coming in on budget for so many years, lowering our mowing requirements, reintegration of native plant life into our roadsides, and providing habitat for our 20-year high pheasant population. So Sherilyn, thank you.
Yeah,
We appreciate it.
well, thank
You've
you.
all been here 20 years, right?
Yeah, only 20 years.
Okay.
But I just want to point out this, I was caught off guard with this, but I do appreciate it. It's some positivity in the county, but I also want to recognize there are a lot of county employees that are dedicated and hardworking that should be recognized. So, I hope I was caught off guard. I'm the first one in here, but I hope I'm not the last, because there's a lot of people that work here in the courthouse, conservation, EMS, everywhere, the sheriff's department, that should be recognized.
Yeah.
So, I'm happy to be the first, but I hope I'm not the last.
Full disclosure, that was part of the caveats for her to accept this recognition. She said, I'm not the only one, so we need to be sure to point out other positive
Yes.
people. So it really goes to the humility and the service that you provided.
Well, thank you, but it's not just one person that makes
Yes,
everything work. It's always a team effort for everybody. Anything you do, it's a team effort. And you're only as good as the people you have around you. And I have good people around me, but I also think there's a lot of people out there that need to be recognized. So thank you.
Well said.
And I hope this carries on. I hope you find all the gems that are out there, because there's a lot of them.
You brought a lot of information about the pollinators and the natural wildlife or plants and things like that. You've been pushing onto our county ditches, and that's a big contributor to our 30-year pheasant high population. So, do you have anything to say about those things? Or
It's a combination. I plant prairie for pollinators, so, the insects, the butterflies, the small birds, which in turn help the pheasant population, because small pheasants have to eat insects, but it's also the DNR, the conservation, the landowners that plant CRP ground and stuff. So it's a combination, and it's also, a little bit of luck, because we've had mild winters. So there's a lot of things that go into it. It's just not, everybody's a piece of the puzzle. Everybody's a part of it.
sounds like you get a great support system there.
Oh, yeah, it's, I work with good people. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Sherilyn.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, next on the agenda, meet with Community Service Director Davison regarding the 28B agreement. Morning, Julie.
Good morning. I'm gonna give you this while I'm up here, so I don't forget. Use up. Okay, let me give you a couple copies here. I'm not going to bore you with my whole speech that I've been giving all the other counties since I've already been here once, but we'll give you the presentation that I'm doing, just so you have it. And then, so this is the presentation that I've been doing in all the other counties. And then this is information on the disability access point that we had printed. And a copy of the MOU. Okay, so you are one of my last counties on my tour. I feel important. I feel important saying I'm on a county tour. No, I actually hit you before the 2080 was finalized, so you're getting hit twice, which is why I won't go through everything. But so just quickly, you can see the map here. We have our 14 counties in the bottom. The red dots are hubs. That's where our main offices are. And then you can see based on the hub where the counties that individuals cover. So out of the Buchanan County hub, we are covering Blackhawk and Delaware. We also are temporarily covering Dubuque and wherever else we're needed because we were a little delayed in getting Dubuque staff. We had a retirement in there with shift and everything. And so I was going to say today we were fully staffed, but we had somebody resign on Friday. So now we are not fully staffed again. So we still have one navigator to hire. We are up to 12 navigators now covering the 14 counties. I've listed the staff on the next page. We will be discussing this week at the at the governing board. It's still regional governing board. Some wanting to get a regular CEO appointed, and then we'll be looking at a change in table. The disability access point, I kind of broke out how it's different than the region and what our role is. Our role is very specific to assisting individuals with disabilities navigate the system. And the ASO, which is Iowa Primary Care, is responsible for assisting individuals with mental illness and substance use disorder, working with the jails, law enforcement, crisis services, and then we come in when individuals reach that point of needing more assistance. We do also assist anybody. We aren't going to say, nope, you don't have a disability, we won't assist you. We do assist anybody. We've had a lot of calls. Not as many in Buchanan County, but definitely some. We're definitely picking up some new populations, more people with the physical disability, individuals. Lori has just 2 today in the office. And so I know we have been seeing new individuals coming into the system than we did previously under the region. So.
When they have to go to, say, Blackhawk County, where do they meet? Or they go to homes individually? Or
yeah, so we want to have a physical presence. We have organized a physical presence in all 14 counties, not every day. So in Blackhawk County, we have 2 half days a week out of the Area Agency on Aging office. HHS encouraged us to co-office with that. But a lot of our time is spent in the community and either in individuals' homes or wherever they would like to meet, but also in the community where people might be. Because a big thing that we have to do is get the word out. And so that's what our next focus is going to be after getting HHS, all the stuff we had to do to get paid, all of the initial things that we had to do to start the organization, and the disability access point. I finalized our initial assessment last week, and now we have the next step of that due November 15th. Once that's in, then I think that's the last of our big things. We got our advisory council in place. I have that first meeting on Thursday. Then I think everything will be in place and we can start doing more focus on getting out. So where we want to do is, get out to the food pantry, get out to the schools, any place that people living with a disability might be that aren't aware of how to navigate the system. So that's our real role, is navigating. And then
right now we also are, figuring out all the people who had services in place on June 30th so that nobody fell through the cracks. So we're still in that process of obtaining all the information, getting it into the new system, and it's been busy, but it will, I'm hoping it will start slowing down a little bit. So the 28E, you can see the primary duties of our navigators are information and assistance, options counseling, and then service coordination of long-term services and supports. The majority of what we should do is information and assistance and options counseling, which is hooking people up with the service and a funding source. The last is us approving funding that HHS would pay, not through Medicaid or any other insurance. So that should be the least of what we do, because we're trying to hook people up with sustainable funding for the services that they need. And the funding that we approve through HHS is 100% state funded versus Medicaid, which is not 100% state funded. So we are required to pursue everything else first. So mainly what we do is information assistance and options counseling. So the 2080 and management of the disability access point is very different than the region. In the region, code mandated a governing board. In the disability access point and the ASO, the reorganization, there is no management, or there is no governing board required. There is an advisory council required. There's not a governing board required. I think part of the reason for that is anybody could have bid on it. It could have been a provider. So Goodwill, Full Circle, D&D, any of those, anybody could have bid on it. Like the ASO was as a private entity. So, but because the East Central region was awarded the disability access point and we maintained our entity, we have a governing board to oversee the entity. And then the entity has a contract with HHS for the disability access point services. So HHS is the one who sets all of the guidelines. We can't set the guidelines for the services that we provide or the funding that we approve. They set the guidelines. We work within those guidelines. And so the governing board role is a little different than it was with the regions. The governing board there could decide we want to fund a startup service someplace. We want to give providers funding for training. We don't have that ability anymore. And so I'm just making sure that the governing board or that board of supervisors members understand the role of the governing board. It really is to oversee the entity, ensure that we're providing a good service, and to advocate for the individuals. You know, some of you guys, we have always relied on the support of the board of supervisors, and know that sometimes you see things that we don't. And so the role is a little bit different. And so with that, the East Central Region Governing Board is inviting Buchanan County to become a member. The governing board is different. We establish who sits on the governing board because it's not in code. So there's none of this rotating on and off. So what the East Central Region, what the governing board, the current governing board decided that any county that signs the 2080 has a seat at the table. And then there will be 1 or 2 advisory members. The reason it's 1 or 2 is to make sure that we have an odd number. And we feel that the advisory member then would probably be the president and maybe, or the chair and possibly vice chair, will sit on the board to share information that from the advisory meeting. And so it will primarily be made up of board of supervisor members. So I went through that pretty quickly since I know we've talked about it before. Do you have any questions for me?
I mean, as far as, what I understand, even as far as what we put out for any type of advertising for our group, it has to be ran through HHS.
Yes.
Like we have absolutely everything is ran through HHS.
I didn't run my PowerPoint through them because I put on there, this is my understanding. And because I was mainly quoting and things, but yes, so this form, this half sheet that I gave you, it had to be HHS approved. We are doing, we've been working on some tear-off sheets like we see in other places in the courthouse. We sent it to them, they revised it and sent it back. I think they want to ensure, there's a couple things. They want to ensure that we are giving accurate information, which there was no inaccurate information on that, but they also are ensuring readability because there's certain guidelines, because we are working with individuals with physical disabilities. Also, they want to ensure that somebody low sight or, you know, things like that, there's certain criteria for making something readable. And so they do change things up for us. But I will say that The collaboration with HHS has been very good. We meet once or twice a week with HHS, sometimes more frequently, coming up over the next 3-4 months. Hillcrest Residential Care Facility is going to be downsizing. And so I'm on the kind of the steering committee for that. And in addition to all the other HHS meetings, there are an additional 2 or 3 a week for that. So there is a lot of collaboration, even though we have to go through them, they do listen. So that part has been very good.
Who is Hillcrest and how does that affect us?
So Hillcrest Residential Facility is located in Dubuque. It is what people used to call the old county home. And so they have maintained a large facility. They are going to be downsizing it. So it doesn't directly impact us. It could impact our ability to find a setting for some individuals, but we really are looking community-based, small RCF settings, group home versus the large RCF. As part of Olmsted, which I don't know if you're familiar, but Olmsted has to do with individuals living in the least restrictive setting. They cited Iowa for the number of large institutions we have, saying that we are one of the, not the worst in the country, but down high on the list of number of individual. We have an opportunity to improve, we'll put it that way, for the number of individuals in facility settings. And so that's part of what we do as the Disability Access Point, is trying to help people locate services to be able to maintain living in the community versus having to go institutional. And so that's just one more step toward that, is those larger RCFs. The county home here closed before I started working here, so probably 30 years ago. 20. At least
20.
Yeah, because I've been here 24 and it was a while before I was here, so. Yeah, any other
I
questions?
know you guys are working really hard on trying to get all this pulled together, and
Yep,
it's been a major change.
it's been a lot, but it's getting better. Yeah,
If we run this by our legal already?
yes.
Yep.
So before I was here the first time, it had gone to Josh, and he had a couple suggestions that were implemented into the 2080.
Okay.
And then other than that, he did not have concerns with it.
Which counties have not signed on?
So Lynn and Johnson have chosen not to. Because, and the reasoning mainly was they don't have the decision-making ability that we did with the region. So that was them not wanting to. Dubuque is waiting for the finalization of the lawsuit going on with them, and then I think they will sign on. I am waiting to hear back from Clinton and Scott, and Jones County is choosing not to. I didn't even meet with them, but they've been pretty vocal for when they withdrew that.
Change.
Yes, and there's a trust concern for them is what it was.
Do they have a certain amount of time?
November 1st. Yep. And then I meet with Delaware next week, Scott again tomorrow. Blackhawk is not till like the first part of November. They couldn't get it fit in, so. Yep.
Everything waits till the end.
Well, and part of it was, it got approved with the governing board like till the end of August, but then the first couple of weeks, I took a week off in September. And so part of it was me getting everybody scheduled, and everybody meets on Mondays and Tuesdays, it seems like. Monday and Tuesday morning is the most popular time to meet. And so trying to hit them all, we had to schedule out a ways.
Make a motion that we accept the 2080 agreement with the Iowa Disability Alliance and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Billy.
If you wanna, are you gonna go in person, do you think, on Thursday?
I don't know.
Okay, well, Shirley wants to go but doesn't want to drive, and so we might go early or we might go later, and then we can just carpool. I have advisory in the morning, so yeah, we'll just chat. Okay,
A few factors.
Julie sending it to you, Don.
Thank you again.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, next, meet with Independence Chamber of Commerce Director Nikki Barth of RAGBRAI.
Hello.
Oh, and you brought Lisa with you too.
Well, yes, my sidekick, right?
For this one, I sure
My
am.
wingman.
I can't tell who's the side chick, but just go back and forth.
So I'm here to ask, that, I guess, permission to, submit our application to RAGBRAI for 2026. I've already met with the city gave their blessing. Do we think it's a long shot because they were in 4 communities in Buchanan County this year? We sure do. But we also want them to know that we are interested at some point, whether it's next year or 10 years down the road, that we would be interested in having RAGBRAI. They did not send out the packets this year. They usually send myself a packet and they send one to City Hall, and they didn't send them out this year. So I called because it said their application period was open. So I called and talked with somebody down there, and they just said they're not sending out the packets anymore, whether that is cost or if it is to really see who is interested that's seeking them out. I just happened to see something on Facebook, which led me to the RAGBRAI Facebook page or website. So one thing that I will tell you that I learned for the county, at the county perspective, when I did call and talk with them, is that last year they made donations to or a stipend or donation, the person said donation, to each county they went into. They gave one to the EMS, to their sheriff's department, and to their secondary roads. The amount, I don't know what it was, but moving forward, they said that they would be giving $2,000 to each one of those departments in each county they go into. And like they said, it doesn't matter if they are literally turning into someone's county to make a turn and they're just going right back out of it. They're still making that donation to every county they go into. So I know $2,000 in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot of money, but it is something so that they weren't doing previously. Mhm.
Did they give money this last year?
They did. They gave some amount of money. I don't know what it was, is what I was told. So whether you all know that or not, I don't have any idea.
I wasn't aware of it.
I wasn't either.
No,
I wonder, do they funnel it through the sheriff's office?
It might.
They might have gone to each.
They might have gave each one directly.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know what the amount was. I think it varied in each county, so. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
just
this is on a report. Maybe it's already been shown to us. I haven't seen it either yet.
I don't think it
Yeah,
was
thanks for the
$2,000.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it might have been something smaller, but moving forward, they're doing the $2,000, they told me.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah,
Well, any little bit helps.
right. And hopefully, with them being in our county for four different communities, maybe some naysayers might have now a different outlook on how they felt about RAGBRAI. I know that happened to me in Raleigh. We had a lot of people that did not want them to come through when we were past town a few years ago. And when they left, every single one of those naysayers said, wow, this was fun, or this was a lot different than the last time. And I will tell you, there's a lot of people from Independence that ride that say that the culture has shifted a lot. It's still a party, don't get me wrong, who doesn't want a party, but you know, it's not quite what it used to be. So,
I was surprised after Raleigh, how many people actually flew in from other parts of the United States and or flew in from other countries
yes,
to participate. It was
Yep.
amazing.
yep,
And having been in, as in Fairbank, and I know Isabel was in the other 3 communities, and I think it went over really well for them. So it's a good, positive thing for the county. And I think we're just looking for a letter of support
yes.
for Independence as a neighboring town.
Or it could be a pass-through town.
Or a master.
I mean, we are gonna check mark each one of the boxes as overnight pass-through or
First,
meeting.
we hope for an overnight.
Yes.
Size.
I think we've got a, did they send you a sample letter that we can,
No, but we have all of the letters from everybody. We put them in a file from last year, and if you'd like me to send it back, and then it can be revised. Fred Smock said, can you just change the date on mine? So,
well, I know we had one for last year.
Yep,
and
yep.
We could,
okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Do we want a motion on that or?
Yeah. I'll make the motion that we, revise the letter of support for, Independence's application to RAGBRAI and then authorize the chair to sign it.
Second.
fair? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds great. You were asking about the water trails discussion.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we dotted the i's and crossed the t's. Did we decide that we're good there or?
Yeah, we sent the letter of recommendation to the, I guess much I Zach Orban at Intercog. At this point, I haven't heard anything more. I've got a watershed meeting tomorrow afternoon. See if they've heard anything, but
Yeah, he said he's waiting on that. He submitted the application to the state at this point. So I think that conversation was just to make sure that we dotted the i's and crossed the t's and got them everything they needed. We voted on this in the past and whether or not that was
yeah,
sufficient. I guess that was
a couple months ago, we sent that in.
And I think from now on, that I think it's county conservation that they would be working with as far as the water trails and stuff goes.
That could be.
Yeah, we're pretty much out of it.
Yes. Yeah, thanks for that.
Commission updates.
I can get started. Actually have a conflict this week between Northeast Iowa Work Development Board and regional economic development. I don't know if anybody's available to attend the Work Development Board meeting on Thursday about 10 o'clock till noon. They actually have a tour going on for the Iowa Works, the new renovation there, so it might be good, but otherwise we can dial in too, so I'll have that conversation.
I'm stacked and booked this week.
Okay.
What time is it?
10 to noon. It's in Waterloo, but like I said, you can call in.
Where's it at in Waterloo?
Over by Pathways and in that Cedarloo area. University.
It's Economic Development Board.
This is Workforce Development Board. Yeah, it seems easier to grasp, but all the concepts are pretty simple. We're gonna drop you in our conversation. It seems like an easier one to do. Okay, I'll forward that information to you. Intercog Exec Board, they talked about some of the projects that they have going on. It specifically to Buchanan County, they're working on a housing preservation grant, water trails, public engagement. We just talked about the water trails, so they're reaching out to potential stakeholders to see how they use water trails in the future, or potentially would. They're working on safe routes to school, which affects this community, homeowners assistance grant, and then the housing trust fund. Some of the other projects that they're working on outside of Buchanan County include stormwater detention basin, housing trust fund, water looping, and flood mitigation plan. So just want to drop that out in the public to think about potential utilization of them. RTA, Regional Transportation, I always get this acronym wrong. RTA wrong. One of the topics that they discussed was the US 218 reconstruction north of Waterloo. So that's coming up in the near future. It's up for that one. And then the 2050 plan. So the regional transportation plan, it's now open and available for a comment period at Intercog. So if you've got ideas or concepts or concerns about what transportation should look like by year 2050, I definitely recommend your Google Intercog and 2050 plan. Please put in your comments there. That's about the most of what I have.
I had a our quarterly meeting for North Iowa Juvenile Detention on Thursday. They are one of the two juvenile services that we use for our troubled youth. They don't have quite the capacity that Central Iowa does. I think they only have 13 beds. Whereas Central Iowa has a license for 55 beds, so it's a little smaller, more intimate operation over there. But they're doing a lot better financially. In the past, they had a lot of trouble getting reimbursed for their MSOs that pay for the
MSO?
services. What's it?
What's an MSO?
It's the funding source for care for medical treatment. And oftentimes they're very slow about paying, but, in fact, we had some last year that were over a year in arrears waiting for, but they've got that all straightened around, so. It is flowing better, so they have a lot better cash flow right now. But, they still have lots of opportunities, and it would be nice if they were licensed for more beds, but the state regulates how many licenses are out there for juvenile detention, so it's also up to the state board. Sometimes they have to pull them from, they actually had Polk County have to give up some to give to somebody else because they weren't using them.
How many beds do we have and how many are we utilizing for Buchanan?
We are reserved for at least one bed out of the 13. However, if they have bed space available and we have somebody that can go, they will take. Which is part of being a member county.
How many youth do we have over there at this point in time? Do we know?
In Waterloo, I think we've only got one.
How about the other one?
There's probably 3 from Buchanan County there right now. And it varies, you know, they could be there 3 days, they could be there a week or a month or indefinitely. I've seen some counties have had the same children there for over 200 days. But it's part of it's getting court dates for them, don't get delayed, that type of thing. Because they have to be held there, they can't be held in a jail. Tough situation.
It's important work you're doing. Thanks.
Yeah. And I do have a watershed meeting tomorrow up at Fontana for Upper Wapsie watershed. And we'll be discussing the water trails, but also some other initiatives that they've got going on. So get you an important update on that next week. That's all I've got.
Well, we had security committee meeting last week. We will not be opening up the front door due to security reasons. It's just better only to have one entrance into the building. So we did check into that.
We're gonna get signing on that so that we know that that's.
Yeah, we discussed putting a sign down at the bottom so people don't walk up. Because we have a lot of people that walk up and try the door.
I've done that. That's great.
So we did that. We have a few panic buttons. They did check the panic buttons again. We're discuss putting that on a semi-annual basis to make sure that batteries are charged and everything. There are really no incidents or concerns. We are going to put a few panic buttons down in the North Conference Room or the secured area. You know, just for the simple fact that sometimes you might have an employee that is maybe going to HR or something for unknown reasons and goes berserk. It's kind of nice for HR to have a panic button if they need it. I mean, I don't think any of our employees would do that, but then again,
Yeah.
As soon as you say, hey, we're not going to do that, then somebody's going to do it. So there's that.
I understand the panic buttons go to the alarm company. They do not transmit to dispatch. Is that right? It's up to the alarm company to call dispatch.
It's an automatic thing. So it goes, like dispatch is aware of it, especially right here. Now, if it's like public health or secondary roads, then it goes to the alarm company first, and then they relay it back to dispatch. But the ones in the courthouse go directly to dispatch.
Okay. I was missing.
But you were informed right on the other two.
Questions, yeah.
Have a balance.
Yeah, and then we discussed shutting down the courthouse for a half a day with mandatory, everybody has to be here for active shooter training coming up in December.
Is that scheduled or still in discussion at this point?
It is scheduled.
It is scheduled.
Yeah, we went through the court system to make sure that we had their blessing also.
Okay. Do you have a date on that already, or?
I think December 17th.
I'm sure. In box, at some point.
Yep, it will. In the afternoon.
Thanks,
I
Bob.
believe it's the 17th. Yeah, we had a VWall committee meeting. Our FY26 budget is, at the beginning, was $7,000. We have spent some on employee assistance program that's paid out of that. For the mental health, our employees need to speak to somebody for their mental health, then they can reach out to the employee assistance program. That's paid out quarterly. Half of our budget is the employee assistance program, leaving the about $3,500 for vaccines and gym memberships. And we had some funds pulled out of our account that we were not aware was going to be pulled out for 509A insurance study, supposed study. That's really more of an audit. So we're looking for maybe a different line item to pull that out of in the future or something. But we will be asking for a budget amendment in the tune of about $1,500. Instead of, we discussed doing the massages. That's not been done on a yearly basis. The whole $310 that was spent on them. We're going to do something else with that. We're looking at putting something together for the employees for appreciation when we do our insurance, mandatory insurance review in November. More to come.
Thanks.
The other one was public health, citing on that. Amber and Cody continue to work toward their well water and sanitation certifications, and they went into a budget work session then, so they're going to be getting ready for budget talks coming up and what they're going to be getting in grant funds and direction they'll go. That's about it.
Do you have any more about the opioid settlement on conversations? I guess I don't feel like I know enough about it. Maybe I should ask some questions here. But I'm not going to ask. And I can catch up on it later, so of course, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we just met, what, 2 weeks ago? And there, I think, Griffin, when she was here one time. Okay. But you do.
No, I just looked like.
I'm gonna hit my panic alarm.
I forgot we had a dog in here. I'm like, who brought the dog?
Thanks.
Now that all of our hearts are stopped.
No need for Kathy and the rest of them.
We continue to receive funds from the opioid settlement. and they go through the county attorney's office before they come to us. And the uses have something to do with, prevention and treatment of anyone with, I guess, opioid issues. And it can be kind of spun off to some other things too, but it has to be drug use related. And we have the vending machine out at Public Health that is free for people that need Narcan or, they have different things in their condoms, they have all sorts of things. And I think they were going to be donating some more gun locks that are free for people if they want to get gun locks for their guns. We had a small supply of them and they ran out, but they're getting a new resource for that.
Never mind. I'm not gonna, I just was wondering how that tied in with.
They're not funding it, but they're making it available in vending. The funds, a lot of it's going to pathways for the drug prevention efforts at the schools. They've expanded it to now Jessup East Buchanan, so that's a good thing. And they also added some grades locally, and I should have grabbed my notes and been able to.
Our second grade Too Good for Drugs program, but I can't remember what else.
Yeah, they get them early, and then there's a later class that's like fifth and sixth grade, maybe. They're concentrating on.
And so we have that in all of the community schools in Buchanan County now.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else before we go to public comment?
Just, I don't think that I'm announcing too early. I know we're waiting still for the official announcement from Google with the Dwayne Arnold plant, but it appears that that's gonna be going back online. The executive board and, with emergency management have started looking into places to host people if something were to happen, like a follow-up center. And we have partnered with the public school here in Independence and done some walkthroughs, and so it's gonna be a good thing. I believe, and I'm running these numbers off the top of my head. When we were the host before, we were told to expect about 2,000 to 2,500 people. At this point in time, it's about up to 8,500 people that we would be potentially hosting, feeding for. So emergency management is going to be working toward solidifying some plans and working toward getting all of that and all the trainings and everything up and running. So those gentlemen out there at our ELC are going to be extremely busy in the coming months.
So
Yeah, they do all of our trainings.
So they're looking at using the high school.
Yeah, we talked to the superintendent and did a walkthrough of the school, and it's gonna be a perfect fit. There's security cameras to lay the rail out there, so we won't need any more security cameras. Everything is gonna be, it's just a good partnership.
Are you allowed to talk about funding for that?
Potentially, yeah, we have, I'm assuming so. We have turned in our funding request. It's gonna be more. I don't remember what that number was, so you get.
I don't know if you did.
About 125,000 to get it up and running, maybe, or 100, some like.
That's not stuff.
Yeah, and then about, to continue the ongoing mitigation and stuff, it's gonna be 50 to 60,000. Does that sound right?
That's it.
For the future, because once you get establishing the plans and the manpower and stuff to get the plans up, and then using your backup agencies, they of course have to do their planning, and it's gonna cost them money as well. So that'll be some pass-through funds. This is not an emergency management. It's not a county, those funds are not county funds. Those funds are actually have to be kept in different accounts.
Funded,
So,
sure.
yeah,
That
funded
makes
accounts,
sense.
because they're not county funds.
Yep, makes sense.
So they both fall under different rules and
They
regulations.
come in, as federal funds, right?
Private funds.
Yeah, might be.
Oh,
Those are private,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep, those are private funds, so they don't have the same spending requirements that county or that
okay.
government funds have.
I assume they should save that away in case of an emergency for the most part, and, you know, some training and management, things like
Well,
that.
they'll do training and management out of it and stuff, so.
Yeah, you know, see what y'all put together.
Okay, I'm gonna open up for public comments.
Sorry, really good.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Keith, we want to thank you for coming to the Independence Public Library meeting on Thursday night.
Yeah.
I understand that they were surprised, but that they were welcoming for you.
It's always exciting to learn something new, so something out of my wheelhouse, and
They also, apparently I know the board chair, president.
she seems familiar to you.
Yes. She was wondering if you or somebody else from the supervisors would be interested in attending the meeting. I believe it's tomorrow night. It's at the library at 6 o'clock, and that is the Buchanan County Library. I believe it's association, not board. I can't remember the correct title, but that's made up of all of the librarians from all of the libraries within Buchanan County, along with the people that have 2080 agreements with the county for the purpose of the libraries. And I believe it's 6 p.m. It's at the Independence Public Library.
I think in the past, Clayton was on that, wasn't he?
Yeah,
We don't only have a representative on that board.
I believe they meet monthly, but I'm not 100% sure. I know that I've attended many of their meetings. And I think it would help the supervisors understand better the whole relationship between all the libraries within the county. And it's not just the city of Independence when we talk about these 2080 agreements.
Right.
It's Winthrop and it's Jessup and it's all the other public libraries as well within the county itself. So if that's something that
yeah, that's one of the big misconceptions I've heard too, is that, you know, it's all about independence, but it's, like you said, it's that association of libraries.
yeah, we're just one of 9 members.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you have a library card for any of the county libraries, you can use any of the county libraries.
That's absolutely true. You don't like, even though Raleigh and Brandon have so far elected not to be members of the county library board or association, whatever the correct term is. Even the residents of there are allowed to participate in the events that the libraries have. It's just that they cannot have a card because of the way that the statute's written in terms of it being a free public library.
Yeah.
Meaning that you can't have individual cards for individual people. It's only it's based upon the city, and it can only come from tax money.
They can come in, they can read books, use the computers, anything,
Absolutely,
all the facilities there, but they just can't check any books out.
absolutely true.
One of the examples that Laura had described about this open access process is that if I have a library card in Jessup, then I can take that down to Cedar Rapids, show them my Jessup library card and say, I would like a Cedar Rapids library card.
Correct.
They're part of this open access process that allows any library to share their access.
Yeah, there's also an online service that allows you to check out books and reserve books, and I think you may be able to get, forgot what the right term is, but where you can check out a book and an audio book. You can check out audio books and stuff from them too. And then as long as you have a library card, you're allowed to do that as well.
That's a great point. Yeah, it's Libby is the app.
Correct, that's right.
I use that traveling overseas quite a bit. It gave me, I don't know, 8 out of 10 books is what I was looking for.
Yeah, we do it all the time when we travel as well.
Yeah, you load your library card in there and you check out, like you said, an audio book or even a visual book, an electronic book, and you download that into its own reader, or you can export it to a Kindle app as well. That's happened to be the one I used at the time, but yeah, I don't think folks realize that you can download electronic books so easily.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so here's my question. knowing they go off addresses, knowing that the county pays funds toward the library association, is probably a bad humor I'm still open right now, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
I think I might be able to answer, yeah.
Well, okay, so I have a county citizen that lives in the country, but they have, say, a Raleigh address, but they're still in the country. How do they not, so are they issued a library card then? Because we pay
Yeah,
for those,
from my understanding, that falls under rural services, so I think they're covered.
Yeah,
but if they go off the address, how do they know that they're county and not city?
I'm not 100% sure of that, Donna. I don't know. I mean, I think that we could ask some,
I'm happy to find out. I'll report back next week.
Yeah.
My family lives along the diagonal, so they have a Quantum PO box, but their physical address is actually still in the Independence area. And they just had to bring in like a piece of mail that showed like their physical address when my sister got her library card, because it is under the rural services.
Right, but Independence is also an area that's covered, Independence City. So I'm wondering how they distinguish
I
that.
think you got into the corporate limits. So I think if you were outside the corporate limits, I think our rural services fund covers it.
Yeah, you just have to provide them
So
a
I'll
piece
find
of
out.
mail.
Okay, if you could, please.
keep doing that.
Any other public comments?
A question, they're gonna do the run, hide, fight, or whatever it is drill. Why don't we have security at the door as far as the metal detector here? Is it cost, is it lack of facilities, what's the, because I know Benton does, Blackhawk does, I don't know. Counties, but
It's not cost effective. And it would actually have to be, as far as the gun portion of that, that's only for the court area. So then you would have potentially something. Now, if we have a high profile case, then we will have somebody at the top of the steps and have security there. From what I understand, when COVID, I want to say, it was either after 911 or COVID, and I can't remember which, but there was some funding, I think 911. There was some funding that was available, more funding for security at doors, like the metal detectors. And at that point in time, Buchanan County chose not to do it. And so to do the metal detectors is just,
I know Benton County, their board of supervisors meetings are in a different building that they own, and they have the security there as well, with an officer and. So.
Yeah, my understanding also is it has to do with the layout of because this building is older. They don't have the ability to put the metal detectors in the right places based upon the doors and the space that you have as you're coming into the door itself. So you'd have to have something that would track them as you come up the stairs further in order to do it. And I think that was part of the reason why it wasn't economically feasible to do it.
Fair point, thank you.
Yeah, those decisions were made long before any of us were on the board, but we have done some things to enhance the security upstairs in the court level, as far as access to where the attorneys are and the judge and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think they're pleased with it, I think, as far as what's been done.
Okay.
And like Dawn said, if we were having a high profile or sensitive trial, they would have a deputy right at the top of the stairs to screen it. Bear in mind, most of the time, we only have 2 deputies on the road at any one time, so big county.
I've also seen that sometimes they'll put the metal detectors outside the courtroom doors themselves. That way, they can control that. I believe that Delaware, Manchester may have that set up. I seem to recall going through the metal detector right as you go into the doorway itself, and I know that some of the other counties have that as well. So it's not at the door of the courthouse itself, but it's at the door to the courtrooms.
Right.
But again, it's a matter of cost effectiveness.
Thanks for bringing it up, though, put that on our mind.
One word of advice, if you do the run, hide, fight, whatever term the training is, And if they have rubber bullets, do not volunteer to be the person who gets it. Don't pay.
Yeah, we're not doing rubber bullets.
Well, they'll probably shoot you out to the different levels so you can see how much time you've got to get out of here and those type of things, so.
Yeah, active shooter training is a necessary evil, I'm sorry to say. Anything else for public comment? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
So. I'll miss you. We have no council meeting tonight.
I know.